everyone. Welcome to today's session. So I hope you're all doing very well. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you. Hope you're all doing very well today. I'm very excited to host you all on today's State of Affair diary. And I'm very positive that we'll be blessed and we'll have a very good time today. I'm doing very well, thank you, Moy. I'm doing very well. And I believe that we're all blessed by last week's edition of our very first Young and Wild. And we'd like to say thank you so much to Mrs. Joyce Hughes, who joined us and was a blessing to us. I'm really glad that we had such a wonderful time, and I believe that today's not going to be any different. So just get ready as we have God's very own bless us today. Today we are having the pastors of ICGC Cornerstone be here, and they are a young couple. They are a great inspiration to all of us, and I know that today is going to be nothing less than what we've already experienced. If anything, it's going to be greater. And so it's just good to be here, and I'm very excited about our couple, and I know that we'll be blessed as we wait for them. I spoke last week on having a project as a ministry in the area of marriage. So we want to carry out a project, and the name of the project is the Marriage Yard Project, where we seek to raise young men and women in the pattern of good marriage material. So we are very expectant that God will use these ones. I think for the ladies slots, they are all filled up, and so we can't take any more ladies as it stands now, but we have a few slots left for the gentlemen. And so what's going to happen is that we're going to have two different platforms. So a platform for the guys, and then a platform for the ladies. There'll be a few sessions where we'll come together, but that'll be it. Okay, we have our guest here. So we'll connect with them, and then we'll start. Thank you, Jesus.
Hello.
Okay, hello.
Hi. Can you hear us?
Hi.
Can
Okay, so let me
you
turn my
hear us?
camera and the way yours is so that it just makes it uniform.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
So let me see if I can hear you. Could you please respond to see if I could hear you? I can.
Can you hear us?
Okay, yes, awesome. I can hear you.
Awesome.
I can
Awesome.
hear you. Can you hear me?
Thank you for having us. This is exciting.
Thank you so much for being on this, and we are so grateful as a ministry to have you on board. And it's definitely going to be a blessing today. I'm very positive about that. So thank you so much for honoring our invitation. We're so humbled.
Thanks for inviting us.
And you guys look good, bro.
Hi, everyone in the chat.
I hope
Hi.
you're doing well.
We're great.
Hi, Pastor Harry. Okay. Okay, so today we just want to speak on, but let me I introduced you before you joined us, but let me introduce to those who just joined. And so we have Pastor Harry and Pastor Nhyira Allotey, and they are both pastors, or the head and pastors of ICGC Cornerstone, and it's such a great privilege to have you both here. Did I get anything wrong?
No, you didn't. You're good.
Yeah, good to you. Okay. So to start with, I think I read a little bit about your story on Instagram about how you guys met. If you don't mind sharing with us again, we'd love to hear it all over again.
Is it
Yes.
about us or about how we met or?
Yes, about the two of you.
Do you want
yes,
to go to my? Do you want to go first?
No, you can go first.
So we are Harry and Nhyira, and once again, thank you for having us. We've been married for we're almost we're still trying to figure this whole marriage thing out. We have 3 daughters. I actually just had a third. We had her. So we both pastor ICGC Cornerstone Temple. We've been doing that for
almost 4 years.
Almost 4 years. We are happy to be pastors. I also work at Daniel Institute, and Daniel Institute is ICGC seminary. We train the next generation of pastors for ICGC. Yeah, so that's what I do. What do you do?
Well, I'm a pastor and also this man. So, and other things on the side, but yeah.
He has different side hustles, because you have to hustle. Men, you need to hustle for your wife. So he has a lot of side hustles.
I tell you.
Yeah. So that's the gist.
Okay, so
we met in secondary school.
Yeah.
No, sorry, please go on. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, so no, it's fine. So we met in secondary school. We're not friends in secondary school. No, we're friends, but we're not like dating. I think we actually started being friends in like SS2, and that's when Harry gave his life to Christ. As soon as he gave his life to Christ, he showed up at SU, and Harry was like praying in tongues, and he was going into battles. And I was like, who is like how that spiritual all of a sudden? And we started becoming friends. Our friends were teasing us in school that we'll get married, and we never saw it.
Yeah.
But we started dating about a year after secondary school. Yeah, and look at where we are now. A lot of our relationship was long distance. We did long distance for about 6 years.
Yeah, almost 6 years.
Yeah, and now we're here.
Wow.
3 kids later, we're here.
Okay.
Someone said SU.
Amazing.
Yes,
But how
SU.
do you do it long distance? But how did you do the whole long distance relationship?
Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, some people say it's not for everybody. I think it's not easy. But what was key for both of us was communication. And I think when we were dating, Facebook was not really.
Yeah,
Yes.
we were emailing. Oh
So
my god! There was nothing. We're emailing each
Wow.
other.
Okay.
I literally have like of Harry's love letters on email. I should one day share it. Like he used to send me like I love you, all these love notes on email.
I tell you.
Yeah, so we, I think that the time difference between us was about 7 or 8 hours. So it wasn't easy. So sometimes when she's, because we were 8 hours in Ghana ahead of where she was. So sometimes when she calls me, it's like 2 a.m. I have to get up, and pick up a call and talk throughout the night with her. It took a lot of commitment and a lot of communication to make it work. So so it wasn't easy, but I think we were determined to make it work. We were determined to make it work. I mean, we when we started to date, we wanted to get married. That was the goal.
Yeah.
And nothing was going to stop us. It wasn't easy to say, but I think that it takes two people to make it work. Yeah, it takes two people to make it work. Yeah, if both of you are on the same page, it will work. Yeah.
Okay. So I think I like what you said concerning determination. Today's topic happens to be what we've titled "At All Costs." So some people have just made up their minds that at all costs I want to be with this particular man. But what is the cost really? And having to lay aside maybe everything that you think you are, meeting someone who is of a different personality. How do you deal with making up your mind to get or to be with someone, but at the end there are so many things that are stopping you from? How do you deal with it?
Wow, that's a loaded question. So most of the time, when I'm asked questions like this, I tend to turn the focus back on. Are you ready? Do you know yourself? I think that's one of the things that I personally learned when we were dating, was that I had to figure out who Nhyira was outside of Harry. And that was one of the great things about long distance, because you have a long time to yourself, just you and God. So even though we're dating, it was like we're single. So I think that both of us developed our personalities outside of each other. Both of us got to know each other outside of each other. The danger about dating is that most of the time you build your personalities, you build your goals, you build what you want to do around the person you're dating. That's the danger. You don't get to know you for yourself. So it's always good to have an idea of who you are before you're connected to someone amazing. And once you get to know who yourself, I'm talking about, you get to know your likes, you get to know your dislikes, you get to know if you want to do something, if you don't want to do something, you get to know your values, you get to build your morals, you get to plan for your future outside of this other person. And I think that it's always important to do that. So with the question that you're asking, I think I'll probably approach it from what am I bringing to the relationship? And the only way I can bring something valuable to the relationship is if I find value in myself, if I'm able to figure out who God has called me to be, if I'm able to figure out my goals, if I'm able to figure out my values, my morals, because those are the things that I'm bringing into a relationship. And the fun part is that once you're able to figure some of these things out, then you'll be able to choose who is right for you and who is not right for you. Because Harry was the first person to be said. Harry was the only person I'm going to get married to. So the only way I was able to make that decision was because I'd spent time getting to know myself. So even though I liked so many guys, which I did, another story for another time, I never actually dated them. I never actually dated them because I always told my mom, I like them, but I know this is not the man I want to marry. And I know it's not the man I want to marry because I've spent time getting to know myself. I've spent time with God. I know the type of man I want. I know the type of husband I want. I know the type of father I want for my children. So it always starts with you. You always have to ask yourself the question. Yeah, that's what I'll say.
Well, for me,
he agrees to everything I say.
Yes, I do. And also, just to add to what she said, for me, I think that at all costs, I came from a broken home. And so for me, at all costs was to make sure that I get married to I did someone that I plan on getting married to. There wasn't games and all that. I had to be very serious about what I wanted. And of course, there's no 100% guarantee in a relationship. Definitely, that's going to lead to marriage or that you will still be together. No, but I wanted someone that at least had an idea and was thinking that way. And I mean, was planning on also taking it further beyond just dating. So I had to pray about it and find someone like that, and I found someone like that in her. And also, when we were in a when we were in a distant relationship, at all costs for me meant that she was my focus, that she was exclusive. You know, as Christian, I was in campus ministry, and the Christian brothers, unfortunately, sometimes we play games.
Christian brothers.
Christian brothers.
With all kinds of jargons and all kinds of things. So I had to put those boundaries in place. No hugging. I mean, it's extreme, but I mean, no hugging for me. No visiting a lady alone. I did nothing like that.
Maybe more of like a side hug, like the holy, like this room for the Holy Spirit.
I don't leave any room. No playing with games with people, with ladies, you know, in the name of being spiritual or in the name of making it spiritual, and then end up saying, well, but I didn't tell that I like you, but I led you on, you know, emotionally, things like that. Yeah, there was nothing like that because it had to be at all costs. I wasn't seeing it, but God sees me. God knows my heart. Even if I played games and she didn't know, God knew. So I would have violated and I would have sinned against God by playing any game. So that was more important for me, was God above all else. And so once God was my priority, I made sure that was my standard, and that helped me in my relationship to be accountable to her as well. So at all costs, at all costs, the person becomes exclusive, no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I wanted to ask, I think Pastor Nhyira mentioned something about getting to know yourself during the time. So say you've already started dating the guy and you are getting to know yourself and know the guy as well in the process. How do you sort of take time to retreat to make sure that you fully understand who you are before you take any further step in the relationship?
Yeah. I think that for me, it came a bit easier because of the long distance. So the long distance afforded me the opportunity to get to know myself outside of Harry. And I truly appreciated that. It might have been a bit difficult if we were together and we're dating, because like I said, the danger about that when you haven't spent time with yourself and dating someone is that everything that you do, this person is included. Everything, your vision, your dream, your future, you're thinking about this person. You are actually accommodating what he wants. You're making it seem like it's what you want. And I think that that's always the danger, because outside of the two of you, God has called you to do something. You know, I always love reading, going back to God's original intention for Adam and Eve. And if you read through the scriptures, you would see that God actually gave Adam a mission before he brought Eve along. So God told Adam that I created you to do X, Y, Z. After he gave Adam what to do, then he brought Eve. So that for me means that individually we all have our assignments. Together we have an assignment as well. The danger is if you think your assignment is just what you have together. You have to figure out what your assignment is, what his assignment is, and then together both of you can do something amazing with it. So that's basically, just take your time. Sometimes it's a process, but I will also say that you cannot know your entire assignment at once. But make sure that you spend time with God. Make sure that you prayed. Make sure that you are in a good place with God. You're reading the word. You're jotting down ideas and thoughts that God is giving to you outside of another person. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Pastor Harry also made mention of being accountable, such that there were certain things you will not do. How far is too far for any guy with another lady when he has a beloved? And how far is too far with your beloved as well? So maybe if you could.
Okay, well, good question. So I think the first part, if you are dating and then yes, and there's another person coming your way or you have female friends, I think that the boundaries are extremely important. I think that from the get-go, you have to set what your boundaries are. So when I was on campus, for example, I was very active in campus from day one all the way till I finished.
Highly active.
When I was on campus, I would never visit the female block before 12 noon. And then after 8 p.m. I will not be there. And so I set that boundary for myself. Not because I was going to do anything wrong, not necessarily, but also because you can put yourself in the way of danger. So it's not that you are going to do anything wrong necessarily, but you are protecting yourself because the Christian must be above reproach. It must even be above suspicion. And so you have to be able to set that boundary for yourself. So some of the things I did, for example, was there are times that you will know that giving a lady a hug, it doesn't feel right. It's just that moment, at this particular moment, to give her a hug is not the right thing to do. And so I didn't just lead myself by my emotions. I led myself by the word of God. By the principle that I set for myself. And so things like pet names for Christian sisters.
Dear.
When we're out of the window.
You don't say.
I actually went as far as not having anything called spiritual daughter. I didn't have anything like that. Okay. I don't have it. People might have it. I don't have it. I just don't have it. If anything, it should be Nhyira that they relate to, but I just don't have it.
I'm not just.
No, I'm not
okay.
So I didn't have that, and also boundaries as to when you call people the opposite sex, and you speak to them. Also, anybody who was close to me must know Nhyira. So it's not the person knows only me, must also know Nhyira. She must know them. She must have spoken to them, something like that, just to create some level of accountability. And then I also had one or two friends who were very close to me, who I told what my boundaries were, who also held me accountable. I remember this case, or this time when I have this lady friend of mine, very close friend of mine. And I think I was standing by one of my department building. And she was, I think she had a good news for her grade or something. So she was running towards me to celebrate the grade. So she was running. I knew that this girl would jump and hug me or something like that. So I quickly just knelt down. Or no, I think I bowed. I quickly just knelt down. And so when she got close to me, I said that,
these ninja moves.
I
avoid the hug.
I thought like, I think I'm feeling dizzy or something like that. So that,
oh my God.
So, but I think that is important.
Yeah.
But with your fiancé or your beloved, or how far is too far? I think that, of course, things like sex is out of the window. I mean, no, that's why it's a no-go area.
Let us not do that.
Anybody who has done it before, there's grace and there's forgiveness.
Yeah.
Definitely. Of course, it's not the end of the road if you've done it in your relationship and you repent and you move on. But then, if you've not saved yourself, that price, because I mean having sex is a different ballgame altogether. So I think sex is a no-go. I think that even spending time together, you must be aware of where and when you spend time together. Because those alone times, it can lead, because when you are dating somebody, you are sexually attracted to them. Whether you are spiritual or not, doesn't matter. You are sexually attracted. It's not about spirituality.
Yeah.
You like what you see. Yes, you do. Things are speaking to you. So you have to watch when and where you meet.
Yeah.
Because naturally you feel something for the person, and your hormone and for both men and women, our hormones are working.
Is it working? It's working.
So the feelings you have cannot be dealt with by prayer or by fasting. It doesn't work that way.
No.
So they can be dealt with by common sense, by boundaries, by the kind of environment you find yourself in. So those are the things that will save you from doing certain things that you say you will not do. Because when you're in the mood and the moment is heated, you can't pray your way out of it.
No, you can't.
So the Bible advises that flee. You can't pray your way. So you have to set those boundaries for yourself. Somebody might ask, what about things like kissing, necking?
Yeah, which one is necking?
Fondling. I don't know. Fondling and things like that. I would not. I think ideally don't do it, because sometimes somebody might be able to do it and handle it. Especially the kissing part. Some people are able to kiss and handle that part, but for some people, if you kiss, it can lead to other things, because it will not just end in kissing. After kissing, you want more. You want to explore more. So I think that ideally, you just save it if you can, if it's possible. Just save it so that you don't get yourself into certain things that locks you up and then becomes a routine in your relationship. And if you're not careful, can end up denting what both of you share so preciously.
And I think that what is important is that these are things that both of you should talk about, and these are things that both of you should be on the same page on. Because there's so many times in our relationship, it's like, Charlie, if I saw Harry that day and things were going to happen, I would have taken advantage of the man. And I would literally tell him, like, babe, I think today, stay home. Like, literally just stay home and let us have a phone conversation. And he totally understood that, because both of us had the value of saying that, listen, we want to keep ourselves from marriage. We don't want to go that far. We both agreed with each other. Make sure that these are things that you discuss with somebody before you actually get into a relationship with a person. And like Harry said, as for boundaries, we both had a lot of boundaries. I had so many boundaries. I mean, there were times that people come and visit me in my apartment, and I was living alone. I would literally like open the door so that if anyone is walking outside, they'll know that I'm not doing anything. It's like, I just don't want to put myself in a situation that is compromising, because things do happen. Things do happen. So I think those are some of the things. Just have that difficult conversation, that uncomfortable conversation with whoever you're dating, and hopefully they're on the same page with you. If they don't share in your same values, they don't share in your same morals, it's time to walk away, honestly, because the person does not respect you. If they don't respect your values, they don't respect you.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a very important question I just put up on the screen, but I'd just like to ask a question someone asked during the course of the week, which is very similar to what we've just spoken about, so we can move to this question. And it says that, how certain are you that you are with the right person? Since we are speaking about values and everything, how certain can we be?
Yeah. I think that you can be as certain as you can be. Because it's one of those things that people wonder that is God in the relationship? Like, what does God think about the relationship? But most of the time, people like you and I, or like Harry and I, we didn't get an audible voice from God. He is the one. Move towards him. Like, that is literally not what our story was. So for both of us, again, it goes back to the point that you get to know yourself. I got to know what I wanted, the type of man I wanted, the type of husband I wanted. Because dating in Ghana is more like courtship, right? So people mostly date to get married. You have to try not to be selfish making a decision like that. And by selfish, I mean, don't think of yourself in your current feelings. Don't let your feelings override your head, because you're looking, this person that you're potentially going to marry is also going to be the father of your children. Is this the type of man I want my daughter to want to marry? Or that his qualities, are they good enough for my daughter to want to marry someone like him? yourself. So don't think about how you feel. Think about what you are actually doing and the consequences of that. So all those things are important. I think that when you figure out all those questions, then you can make a decision. As for God, yeah, if you bring the marriage before him at the altar, he will bless the marriage. That is God's part of it. But we make the decision. I'm sure you have something to add.
Oh yeah, I mean, you said it all, and I think that
I said it all.
there's no one person that you should marry. So there's no one particular person that everybody should marry. I mean, I think there are a set of people that fit what you like, maybe a certain personality type, a certain disposition or character or attitude. And I mean, but obviously the person should be a Christian. Obviously, faith is key. But then there's no one particular person that you should marry. Like you don't marry this person and you can't marry again. No, there's no one like that.
Okay. All right. So then now maybe we can move to this question about how you handle liking some other person when you're dating. So how do you do? Oh, we really apologize for this. I'm sure very soon we'll have them come back again. The network just went bad for a short while. So we'll be back again. Just stay tuned. We're having a really great time with them today. I hope that they come back soon. The questions are a lot. We have very limited time. Okay, yay, they're back.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
I just messed up.
The network, yes. Really sorry.
No, it's fine.
Thanks for coming back.
So Harry was answering the question that you're asking.
Yes. Okay.
What do you do if you like someone while you're dating another person?
Yeah. So I just said I mean that can actually happen. It is possible. Sometimes either maybe because if you're in a distant relationship, maybe both of you have not seen each other for a while. Sometimes missing that person and getting another person who is more or less close to you, or a friend, or somebody who you are in the same class with, or somebody you're in the same church with, give you a certain kind of attention. Sometimes you might want to enjoy the attention to complement the person you are missing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes it's something you might watch out for. It doesn't mean you don't like your partner, but sometimes you are enjoying the attention you are receiving now. Either because the person is annoying you, or your partner, or So, but it's not a very dangerous place because it can also lead to flirting with people. So I think that when that happens, you have to quickly ask yourself the question: I mean, what I'm doing with this person, what is the reason why I'm giving this person that attention? What's the reason why I'm spending time with this person? What's the motive behind it? Is it right? And you have to do that introspection and come to yourself and ask yourself that if your partner was doing that to you, how will you also feel as well? Yeah. So I mean, coming to that, once you realize that you have to cut that person off immediately. You have to cut that person off immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to cut the person off. There's no keeping the back distance. No, you have to cut the person off immediately.
It's not a friend anymore.
Yeah, it's not a friend anymore. Because just to save yourself as well. Otherwise, if you're not careful, for most guys, they can be the danger of trying to juggle the two people, and I mean, you find yourself in trouble, definitely.
That's not good.
Yeah. But what if you are no longer interested in your boyfriend?
Oh, I think that if you're not interested in your boyfriend, then do yourself a favor by walking away and doing him a favor.
But the person doesn't want to leave. She doesn't want to leave because she feels like she's more secure with the guy. You know that level of security? Like, I feel I'm more secure with this guy because he looks like the marriage material. But I don't really love him as much as I love my friend X. So what do I do?
You know what? I think these are the complications of relationship. That is what
I'm telling you.
Well, it's complicated. It's too complicated. But I think I always say that we always have to try not to listen to what our feelings is doing. You know, always look at the end of the day, you're accountable to God. So always look, what would God expect of you? If you respect somebody, if you honor somebody, or if you respect yourself, there are certain things that you would do in order for you to be respectable in front of someone. So if you feel like I don't like this guy, then be respectable enough to say, I'm sorry, I don't see a future with us. I just don't see it. And I would like to marry somebody that I genuinely like. I genuinely feel like I can spend the rest of my life with. I think that it's all about respect. It's all about respecting yourself, respecting the other person, and respecting God. That is how personally I would approach it. It's difficult, but out of respect for this person, I'm going to treat him this way. I'm going to treat her this way. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's really true. Because I think a lot of young people are really going through that phase. I don't know why it's happening now, but I hear so many people speak about being with their beloveds, and then the next thing they know, there's this friend who shows up and there's a spark. Oh, I like my friend more than I like my boyfriend.
Because everything new is sparkling. Everything new is like the fresh thing. Because this person is probably coming with all sorts of promises. This guy is probably paying you so much attention that your husband or your boyfriend doesn't do at this moment. But you should realize that sometimes it's only because it's a new thing. If you accept that new thing into your life, it would end up becoming old. And he might not give you that much attention anymore. So what are you going to do? And that's the whole thing about marriage, you know. Marriage is not for children, because there are so many times that I don't feel all the butterflies when I'm with Harry. There are times that we are arguing. There are times that we don't see eye to eye. In those times, I don't see the love. But then I made a commitment. I know that this is the man that I want to spend the rest of my life with. So what I know versus what I feel are two different things. And because I know this, I respect him enough, so I'm not going to move outside of our relationship. So it's always important to not go by what you always feel, because what you feel can lead you astray. Yeah. What you feel can totally lead you astray. Yeah. So you want to be conscious of that fact.
Okay.
Love is not butterflies.
I'm telling you.
It's not butterflies.
There's also another question here that says that what are some of the things to consider when choosing a partner?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. What choosing a partner first is faith. Because if both of you have two different sets of belief systems, it would affect what your priorities are. It would affect how you spend your money. It would affect how you spend your time. It would affect how you raise your children. It would affect the kind of principles you adopt. And so I think that faith is key. That both of you are Christians. That is fundamental. I think that another thing that influences is maybe personality of the person's personality can also influence a choice. For me, for example, I mean, apart from faith, I wanted a woman who is really very friendly and
and
who we can have somebody I can somebody who,
yeah.
somebody who I'm dating, but can be my best friend. We can have conversations. I don't have to have a best friend outside of her, but then we can have conversations. We can talk about everything. I also wanted somebody who was very generous. I don't like stingy people. So, yeah. So I wanted somebody who was generous. Not generous in terms of helping people, who has compassion for people, who the need, who wants to support. I like those things about her. I mean, there are times that Nhyira will do things in church for people, and the people come and tell me, "Oh, Pastor, thank you," and because she's going to tell them that it was both of us who did it, and I didn't even know. And I would just say, "Oh, yeah, you're welcome, you're welcome." Just so, but I mean, I just like it about her that when she's in need, she wants to respond. So there are some of those things that attract you to people, and so, and then you can also add, of course, some people also you can also add what you see physically, the person's beauty or handsomeness or their face or whatever.
Beauty.
I mean, that is also important. We are not saying that those go and fall in love blindly. I mean, if you see something like, I mean, it's good. Yes, it's good to like what you see as well. So, so some of those things are very important when you are making a choice. But I think that one of the easiest ways to make a good decision is also if the foundation is based on friendship. When you are friends, it's easy to transition. All things being equal, it's easy to transition that way when you're friends and talk about things like common interests, common goals, common aspirations. So anytime you're talking, it's more about ministry, ideas, things you want to do, how we can be effective in this generation. So we have common things that we share and helps us to enjoy our conversations. So those are some of the things that we can look out for when we want to make a decision.
Yeah, I always say, totally agree with her 100%. I always say that we fall in love with people's personalities. We fall in love with people's values. We fall in love with people's morals. We fall in love with how people serve God. Those are the things we fall in love with. We don't fall in love with whether the person is tall or short. Because I remember so well, me and friends of ours would say, I don't want to marry a short man. I don't want to marry a fat man. I don't want to marry all these type of men. But then short men get married.
Yeah, they do.
People that are a bit chunkier get married. Mm-hmm. So why do they get married? It's because of personality. You see something in that person that is beyond the height or the weight or whatever it is. And those are the things we fall in love with. And for women, those are the things that we submit to. Because I can only submit to somebody who I feel like it's on the straight and narrow path, who I believe has the right morals, who I believe has the right values, who I believe can be a good father, can be a good husband, who I believe is generous. That's the type of man I can submit to. I can't submit to any other type of man. So it's always important. Then again, it goes back to get to know yourself. Get to know what you like. Because when you know what you like, you know what you don't like.
Okay. That's true. Thank you. There's an interesting question here. The person says, we keep hearing we'll marry friends around us or people who are around us. What if the people around us are not the kind of people you'd want to have anything to do with?
Yeah, then change your circle. If the people around you are people that you don't want to get married to, then you need to question yourself.
Change your friends.
Yeah, you need to, because if the people around you are people you don't like, but you're still around them, then there's something that you don't like about you. that you are doing, because you are only attracted to people that are negative. And once you've been able to identify that, then you should have the willpower to change that. So basically, there's something about you that somebody also doesn't like, because the people around you, you don't even like them. So you have to be able to do a bit of introspection and figure out that maybe I am the problem. Maybe I need to work on myself. Instead of blaming someone else, look at yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And someone also says, I like this girl a lot. And I've actually told her about my intentions to date her when I return to the country. But I have this other friend who I love to talk to a lot. But I have no sexual or love feelings for. The lady who I love is an introvert. And we don't talk often as compared to my friend. But anytime I talk to the love of my life, it is wonderful. Am I leading my friend on? Because I like someone else, and she knows that. But we are still close, and I'm scared that I'm leading her on. What should this person do?
It depends. It depends on, first of all, what kind of conversations you are having with her that will inform whether you are actually leading her on or not. It's not enough for her to just know that you like somebody else. That's not enough. If you think that you are giving her certain kind of attention that you should not be giving to her, then you have to audit your relationship with her and take some steps back. So as for the person you like being introverted and all that, that's not a problem. I mean, that's who you like. I mean, and that one too, because you are far from you're in a different country, when you come back and you are with her, there will be conversations that you would have with her. So that is not a problem. But for the other person, if you're asking what I'm leading her on, then you have to ask her, what am I doing that makes me think that I'm leading her on? And if I'm not even sure whether I'm leading her on or not, then I should just, more or less silence that relationship. If I'm not sure, just to be on the safer side as well. I think that you should focus on the person you like and make a decision clear and try and make it work. Just focus on that person and have an arm's length relationship with the other person.
Two arms.
Yeah.
2 arms.
Yeah, I always find questions like these very interesting, because the thing about things like this is that you take attention off yourself and you try to put it on someone else. So you're wondering if you're leading her on. Once you're wondering it, then you are probably doing it. Because if you're not doing it, you probably not wonder it. Once you're asking the question, then you have to be able to identify that, okay, I'm leading her on. So what do I have to do to not lead her on? That's do the opposite of what you are doing. So own it. It was a mistake. Own it and try and change it. But don't act like you can't control your emotions. You can control your emotions. You can control how you feel about someone else. If I see another man who is attractive, I can control my emotions as to whether I want to get into a relationship with him or not. I am in control of that. That's why you have self-control. So you need to be able to exercise it and not feel like you are a victim to your feelings. You are not.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. God bless you. There's another question says, would you suggest to keep a relationship where boundaries are broken often?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question about keeping a relationship when boundaries are broken often. I think that both of you, if both people are dating, would have to speak to someone and get some help, especially if the boundaries are sexual. They'll have to get some help. I don't think I should necessarily squash the relationship necessarily, but I think that both of you would have to evaluate where you are and also speak to a third party, and get some help on what we are doing and why we keep breaking the boundaries, and what we need to and the kinds of things we need to put in place to ensure that the boundaries are not broken. And if you would have to take tough decisions. The Bible says that narrow is the way that leads to life. It's a narrow way. You have to make decisions that not everybody wants to make.
Yeah.
It's a very tough. And most times when boundaries are broken repeatedly in a relationship and you want to fix it, it means that you have to put more strain on yourself. It means that even things like meeting alone, you might not have to do it.
Because once you've tasted and you've seen it.
Yeah.
So things like meeting alone, you might not have to do it anymore. Probably it has to be meeting publicly. So whereas other people in the relationship might be able to meet alone comfortably, in your case, because boundaries have been broken and if you find yourself in the same situation, the boundary be broken, you might have to not, you might not subscribe to that particular choice. Your choice might be to meet in public spaces. Your choice might be maybe we'll never kiss till we get married again. Your choice might be to maybe we'll only meet if we're going to meet, maybe probably it's going to be your parents' home when I come and visit you. Things like that. You have to put more stringent measures on your relationship than so you can't compare the measures you put on your relationship with that of other people, because in this case boundary has been broken. And if you do what other people are doing, although nothing's happened to them, something will happen, because when you were in a similar situation, something's happened. And now you are it's more or less like a corrective measure. So you have to be tougher and also remain accountable to someone that to a mature Christian that you respect and whose trust you can rely on. Yeah.
The awesome thing about boundaries is that if I let Harry know what my boundaries are, it means that I'm being vulnerable to him. I'm letting him know my weakness. And if Harry is also sharing his boundaries with me, it means that he's letting me know his vulnerability. So if it's broken, in essence, trust is broken. So I trusted you with something that was so precious to me. I trusted you with something that was so sacred to me. I was hoping that you would hold the world, that you treasure it, that you nurture it, that you keep it, but you broke it. So I think that it says a lot is going on in that relationship. So the fact that it's broken for me means that, like I said, trust is broken. So bringing back trust takes a lot of work. And that's what Harry was talking about. You have to put in a lot of effort. And by the way, like, boundaries is not just for single people. Boundaries are in marriages as well. So if as a single person, you can't stay true to your boundaries, how will you stay true to your boundaries when you get married? There are a lot of boundaries in marriage, because marriage calls you to be very partner. And you are vulnerable to your partner 100%. Because of this, you have to create boundaries. So yeah, I mean, I think that once there are boundaries, you have to try your best to keep them, to protect them, and to secure it.
Okay. You know, it's getting really interesting, and I think we have about like 6 questions even at the comment section, but we have just about 5 minutes to go. I am hearing even 4. But I just don't want this to end because it's just too lovely. I noticed you guys also have a Zoom meeting today. Is it today?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a Zoom meeting today, yes. So we'll have to end by 8 o'clock. However, based on what you just answered, maybe we'll try and save the other questions. If we are granted opportunity again, maybe we could have another session again and just continue where we left off.
Yeah.
But is there anything like a relationship part 2? Yeah, part 2. Is there anything like a relationship that is too damaged beyond control?
Is there anything
like a relationship that is too damaged beyond control?
Well, there can be relationships like that are damaged beyond control, especially when there is physical and sexual abuse.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if there's physical abuse where the guy is beating you and punching you, I don't think you want to marry that kind of person. I don't think so.
Yeah.
But if you can beat when he's dating, then
he can kill you.
You're screwed. Yeah. Or if there's a sexual abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that would be beyond control.
Yeah.
So that would be that just can't move on. Or if there are very significant irreconcilable differences, like I never want to have children, and one said I want to have children, and there's no budging. It's going to be very tough. it's going to be very tough to make it. Especially when one says, "I never want to have children. I don't want children. I don't think I can raise children," and the other one, it's going to be really tough. They are, but those are more of extreme circumstances. But in most cases, it is repairable. When it gets to physical and sexual abuse, it gets a bit difficult. Yeah.
Totally. I also think that when you're in a relationship, don't think that your relationship is marriage, because it's not marriage. Yeah. It's a relationship. You're trying to figure out if this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. So if things don't go according to plan, it's okay. It's okay that they are not going according to plan. Because it's not marriage, you can walk away if things are not going the way that you expect it to go. If you are not being respected, if you are not being valued, if there are certain things that the person is doing that is not the type of man that you prayed about, because you don't want to marry somebody that's let me probably talk about this. We all want to marry a certain type of man, and I'm sure we all pray about that person. If there's somebody in your life that is abusive towards you, if there's somebody in your life that doesn't respect you, if there's somebody in your life that doesn't value you, you have to take a step back and say, is this the type of man that I was praying to God to bless me with? If this is not the type of man that you're praying to God to bless you with, you should be bold enough to walk away from it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's in your hands. You have the power in your hands. Don't let somebody dictate what you can do and what you cannot do. You have to dictate it because it's your future, it's your life. Don't place it in somebody else's hands. You can walk away if the person doesn't deserve you, if the person doesn't respect you, if the person doesn't value you. You see all these negative things. Don't think that you have to spend the rest of your life with, especially when you're not married. I'm talking to the singles. If you're married, you will do the counseling. You know one. Let us do counseling. But if you are dating, you should know that this is you can walk away. You shouldn't feel like you owe the person anything.
Yeah. God bless you so much. And I can see from the comment section, lots of people getting really excited about a part 2. And I personally look forward to it because I think like this time is just too small to. And I think with a relationship, it's never like you can never exhaust everything that there is to it. So as a ministry, we are even coming up with a project to just help young people in relationships. So we want to run like a 10-week program where we get to groom people who are yet to enter, people who are already in relationships, and just try to help them find the right way to go about things. So hopefully we can even have you on board. We are really excited that you were a part of this, and we are so grateful. We are so grateful. Thank you
for having us. We had so much fun. I've been reading the comments. They are hilarious. I was trying not to laugh. But thank you guys for being energetic and commenting as well. I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
And please, they have a new YouTube page. Please follow them. It's Chat with HN. So please subscribe, turn on the bell so that you always get notifications, because they are always a blessing, and I believe that they are set apart to just bless our generation. God bless you so much. Thank you for honoring our invitation. It was such a blessing to have you. And I'll definitely keep this so I can listen to it again. So thank you so much. And love from the whole of the ministry to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us. We really, truly appreciate it. Thank you, everyone who tuned in to listen. We hope that you were blessed. There's a part 2 coming up. Watch this week.
I know.
Good night.
Thank you. Have a good night too. God bless you.
God bless you. Bye.
Bye. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of today's Faith Over Fear Diary, and I believe that we've all been blessed. Like I said, we just have few slots for the guys for the marriage project. The lady slot is filled up. Thank you so much. Join us next week again at 7 p.m. for the next season. God bless you. See you. Bye.